I'm a bad motherfucker.
Look at our team is so fast.
Guess what? We got good news. Julian Assange has reached a plea deal.
Amazing.
He will not be extradited to the United States after reaching a plea deal. So the U.S. authorities have agreed to drop their demand for Julian Assange to be extradited from the U.K. after reaching a plea deal with the WikiLeaks founder. In return for pleading guilty to one count of conspiracy to obtain and disclose national defense information, Assange will be sentenced to time served, 62 months, the time he has already spent in a British prison. He will then be free to return to Australia, the country of his birth. American prosecutors have alleged that Assange, 52, put lives at risk when he helped former U.S. Army intelligence analyst Chelsea Manning steal diplomatic cables and military files that WikiLeaks put online. So he didn't do that. But he wants to get the fuck out of prison. He's been locked up now for over 10 years. So 62 months of those inside of a prison. The rest of them inside of an embassy. And they've lied about him. They've made people think. They've said he was a rapist. They've said the usual things they do to anybody who's a threat to the establishment. And he's and you know, I like to remind people that the Young Turks turned on Julian Assange. I don't want to let them off the hook on that. They said he was Trumper working for Trump and that he couldn't be trusted. A journalist who wouldn't give up his sources. A journalist who told the biggest truths about the military-industrial complex, the war machine, and the terroristic United States military, exposed war crimes. Just remember that the Young Turks turned on him. That's the home of the progressives. So this is great news that he did this. So now he even though he's not guilty of this. The thing that he's, let's see, he's guilty. He's pleaded guilty to one count of conspiracy to obtain and disclose national defense information. He didn't do that. He was given that information. Guess what? You know who else published that information? The New York Times. And that's why the Barack Obama administration dropped that case against him. Because they realized that if we're going to prosecute Julian Assange, we'd have to prosecute the New York Times as well because they printed a lot of the same information.
Also, that shouldn't be illegal as journalism.
And it's not illegal. It's journalism. And everybody, even the worst people in news media, meaning Chris Hayes and Rachel Maddow, have agreed that what Julian Assange was doing was journalism. And that this was actually a threat to journalism. But somehow it's Trump that's only a threat, not Joe Biden when he's doing it. Because this is on Joe Biden. So I hope everyone learned how, if you're a real journalist, that's the kind of things that happens to you. When you're a threat to the establishment, when you expose the war machine, and you expose imperialism and war crimes of the elite, which is what he did. People still, they want you to think that, oh, Julian Assange is in prison because he was working with the Russians to hack into the DNC. That was never the case because that never happened. That never happened. The DNC, that was never hacked in by Russia, and Julian Assange had nothing to do with any of that. What he's in prison for was because he revealed war crimes that the United States committed in Iraq, and he revealed them.
They wanted to kill him, but they got it down to just destroying his life.
So under Trump, they tried. Pompeo had a plan to assassinate him. Under Trump, remember Trump he loved WikiLeaks when he was running in 2016, and he said he would, but he didn't. In fact, his CIA chief came up with a plan to assassinate him. So shame on Donald Trump.
Do you know what people say?
Shame on Donald Trump for not calling off the dogs on Julian Assange and setting him free. So that's a big black eye for Donald Trump. So this idea that just because the establishment hates Donald Trump doesn't mean Donald Trump's a good guy and going to do the right thing. That's what a lot of people need to keep in
If he
mind.
doesn't, at this point, I mean, assuming there's not some we don't blow up before the election to make sure that Biden,
If Donald Trump does the things that he says he would,
hey,
like
I'll
release
give you
the
whatever you do.
release.
Whatever you do that you said, I'll give it to you. If you don't do it, I will give it to you.
I mean, look what they're doing to him now. He's just a minor threat. He's a minor blip to their war machine, Donald Trump. And look what they're doing to him. They're trying to put him in jail. 92 felony counts. If they could put him in jail for the rest of his life, they'd do it.
Oh, yeah.
So if he actually freed Julian Assange without him pleading guilty, so this is so the government can save face. If he did that, if he released the JFK files, if he actually
Please release that.
if
And
he
the
actually
Epstein thing.
if he actually closed down our military bases in the Middle East, and they would kill him. And Donald Trump knows that. So this is great. This is great news in a sense, because it's great to see Julian Assange get out of prison before he died, because they were slowly this was a slow torture and they were trying to kill him.
Yeah.
And by the grace of God, he didn't die.
No kidding.
And so I'm really happy to hear this. I'm proud that this show has never wavered in our support of Julian Assange and of freedom of speech and journalism, unlike people who vote for Joe Biden and people who call themselves Democrats and all the other shitlib YouTube stations around, and the Young Turks being the worst of them. And I hope nobody ever lets Cenk Uygur and Anna Kasparian forget that they turned on Julian Assange, said he couldn't be trusted, and that he was working for Trump.
Yeah, we really missed out on that Hillary presidency.
Yeah. So,
Hillary said she was gonna reveal all the alien stuff, but now
Yeah.
we'll never get to know.
I mean, nobody watches their goddamn show anymore. Go watch their live stream. They barely get
It's like
5,000.
going to an AOC Bernie festival.
It's like going to an AOC Bernie festival, which we're
no
gonna
one there.
we're gonna cover next. Over to Steph.
Okie dokie. Thank you, Jimmy. That's big news. So happy to hear that for the Julian Assange family. So happy. I can't even believe that happened in our lifetime. It looked pretty bleak all these years, and I couldn't. I'm so happy. So happy. Thank you for all of those who clued us in to that this just happened. And thanks, Malcolm, for getting that keynote handled for us. Holy shit, this is a great interview. I never heard of Blair before, but I'm going to follow her from now on. Brewdog. Here we go. Beyond it being sexist stereotyping, telling kids who exhibit non-gender conforming behavior they should transition to a flat-out homophobic, a new form of conversion therapy with permanent consequences. Ribsy, #1 fan. We're all a little gay. Thank you. Ristos, thank you so much, Ristos, for that. Much appreciated. Much appreciated. Safe and effective vax. Thank you so much. I ask what I identify as on a recent job application. I was asked what I identify as on a recent job application. A person. At the point, I had zero interest in that job, so I put that I identify as a centaur. Hilarious, Marathon. Thank you so much. Summer of 1970, thank you for the info about Julian Assange. John McBride, I was secure in my cisgender male homosexuality, but Blair White has turned me solidly bisexual. Kennedy 2024, subscribe and follow you all. John McBride. Blair is the only true Scotsman. Everyone else is fake as fuck or a government psyop. Ridiculous. Establishment pushes black and white thinking, which is trauma behavior. SS.
It is trauma behavior. You're right.
Thank you so much, Hannah, sir. Much appreciated. To anyone who thinks things are going to shit, Assange is going to be free. Thank you for that, J.M. Herbert. Thank you very much. All right, let's look at this one. If you look at the top of page 3, you can see 99% of the contents of appeal are unknown. And that is www.epa.gov/pesticides. Hempcar. Thank you for the info, Hempcar. And take pride back from the alphabets. Have pride in everything you do. Nuxus. Thank you, Nuxus. Kekatwas. Thank you so much for your generosity, Kekatwas. Stephen Dodds, thank you very much. The fake fruit came from China. Everything is fake there. Their roads, their products, everything savage. Come on. Michael, will Jimmy do a reaction to his Talk TV debate with the two lovebirds? Sorry if he has already. I could have missed it. Thank you, Michael. Yes, the two lovebirds. Appeal is a chemical sprayed on fruits to make them stay fresh longer. RJ Clayton, we needed to rumble. Thank you so much, Nuxus. Do something nice for someone, ladies. Is there a trait that farm animals have that makes them different from dogs or us? A trait that justifies torture? Ending animal oppression is a gateway to ending all oppression. Mr. Titty Butt. Catchy handle there, Titty Butt. Etienne, is it Etienne de Gaulle? I see a pup's head. The dog needs more camera time. Really? Did she appear earlier? Eric, thank you so much. Airytune, rather. Natalie, hey, Lucienne Canet, Lucy of Blue Moon Red Wine, is right in on New York 14's ballot tomorrow, going on up against AOC. Writer in. Thank you, Natalie, for the update on that. Much appreciated. Eric, thank you very much. Michael, thank you. Patrick, I've got one of these fake avocados. It was like a hard rubber. I left it out sliced open on my counter for a full month and never browned or aged. There wasn't even a hint of mold. Patrick, did you ever take it back to the store and get a real one? Spade 2187. I want to know where you got that from. Spade 2187. Thank you so much for your generosity. I didn't know Kurt did the voice for Zombie Randall in Ugly Americans. He was the best. Needed another season.
I did do that voice.
Look at that. Spade. Here we go. Blair White and JD is the collab I have been waiting for. Oh my God, my two favorite political commentators. This is amazing. Thank you for keeping me sane. Thank you, Amma. I'm glad you enjoyed it. Gavin, thank you, Gavin. Eric, damn, there are some fake stuff there. Gotcha. All right, Eric. Gray Bright, thank you, Gray Bright. Eric, thanks again, Eric, for your generosity and hilarity. All right, I've got this one. Blank State, thank you for your generosity, Blank State. Let's see this one.
Okay.
Brewdog, thank you, Brewdog. And now back to Jim.
Why did we move from California to Alaska? For starters, they shut down my dad's miniature tractor business because it wasn't EPA compliant or electric. Secondly, you have to smog every vehicle built after 1975. In California, this truck was $1,200 a year to register. Here it's $100 for lifetime tags. You couldn't take an ATV anywhere because every trail was closed off due to public safety. This sawmill, they wanted 1 million board feet worth of taxes for operating. And you can't use any of the lumber for anything structural. And finally, to build our cabin, it would have required 50 times more than we have in the materials of the cabin to get the permits to build it. Why did we move from California to Alaska?
Hey, thanks for checking out our YouTube channel. Subscribe by clicking on that button down there for more AM Joy and the rest of MSNBC. And click on any of the videos right here to watch the latest interviews and highlights. And you can get more videos from MSNBC for free every day with our newsletter. Just visit
Isn't it swell? The memes make themselves. They found a rabbi hole, tunnels and all. There's Jews in the walls. Isn't it bliss? The rabbinical grace soiling the mattresses. Well, let me tell you. If I were Rabbi Shmuley and diddle 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 digga digga diddle diddle dum, all day long I'd diddle little bums. If I were a Shmuley man, I'd peddle all my dildos, dreidel dildos, selling dildos with my daughter and her mum. If I were a Jewish Shmuley man, I'd be digging with a dildo in my bum. I'd wear a grotesque nose and go grab some goyim right on the nipple with a pinch. A Shabbos lap dance brace for the youngest mensch.
At this time, more than any other time, you know, revolution is necessary. It is necessary. Not only based on what has happened with the MOVE organization, you know, the babies that have been murdered, you know, MOVE adults that have been murdered, bombs being dropped on us, but past that to what is happening with all black people, so-called minority people, you know, money poor people. You know, this government, as has been said earlier, has waged war on us. But you know, something about us, particularly here in America, we don't really understand that. You know, we don't really know what war is. You know, for black people, for poor people, that people see as good, that they wasn't forced to do, that they didn't do to try to keep black people appeased, you know, and calm down so that black people wouldn't riot. A prison situation is a crystallized example of that. You can make phone calls in prison. They have movies in prison, but they don't have those things because they just want to be nice to prisoners. They have those things because they know damn well if they don't have, you know, people being able to contact their family, if they don't have, you know, facilities for people to sit there and watch movies, people are going to be frustrated, upset, and they're going to direct that frustration at them prison administrators, and they're going to have riots on their hands. You know, they're going to have people in them prisons turning them prisons out. That's why they have movies. That's why they have access to phones the way they do. And a stop to it when we don't like it, or encouraging it when it's something that's in our interest. You know, we have to call the shots. The people have to take the reins of this system and start dictating, you know, what we need, what needs to be done. And, you know, taking the initiative to do it ourselves. We can't rely on this system. I mean, you know, don't people see what's happening? Every single confrontation that MOVE people have been involved in, every single issue, you know, oppression, economic issues, every single issue facing our people, you know, is something that can be dealt with very, very simply. All people got to do is make their wishes known. All people have to do is stand up and say, listen, we're not accepting that. Unity is the key. Unity is the key to revolution. Revolution ain't nothing to be afraid of. It ain't nothing to shy away from. Revolution, contrary to what officials, you know, this system and those backing the officials running the system, you know, want people to believe that revolution means violence, you know, means blood in the street. I'm saying it can get to that point, but it don't have to be violent. You know, when people come together and take a strong stand on an issue, this government don't have no choice but to listen. Where you think they get their authority from? They don't have no power, but they do have authority to do certain things. Where you think they get it from? They get it from us, from the people. You know, they get it from us accepting the things that they do to be done to stop it. Then you have some people who want to then turn around and say, yeah, well, you know, it's the best we have, and want to make excuses. The time for excuses is over. It's over. You know, every man, woman, and child has to be involved in this revolution. Not only has to be, but is, whether you want to be or not. I mean, our babies gave their lives for this revolution on May 13th. You know, men, women, and children were murdered. And not just moved babies, you know. What about all of the young men, women, you know, children 8, 9 years old shot down on the street by cops, you know, by drug pushers? I mean, you know, where do you think that mentality comes from? It comes from this system, from the mentality of this system of getting over, you know, making a quick buck, you know. I'm saying that's where that needs to be done to stop it. Then, you know, what I want people to really, really understand is that it's past time. It is past time for poor people, black people, you know, to realize that this system has failed you. It has failed you. You can't get nothing from it. And what people got to do is withdraw our support from it and start doing for ourselves. That's what we got to do. You know, how long are people going to sit back and beg, you know, this government to do what's right when for hundreds of years all you've gotten is a slap in the face? All you've gotten is this government kicking your ass. That's all. That's all black people have ever gotten from this government.